Hi, I'm Lynn Gnatzig, and this is Ray Nielsen, the founder of Green World Path. And he's been formulating non toxic soil amendments for 40 years, right, Ray? Or 50?
40 and a half.
40 and a half, or 45. And we're just going to talk briefly about non toxic farming and the transition that takes place from conventional farming or toxic farming to non-toxic farming, how that takes place, and what difference it makes in the soil and the product, the crop. And now keep in mind, non-toxic farming is not organic farming. There's a difference, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, we're just going to talk about non-toxic farming and that goal in itself of non-toxic farming. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, I'd like to just say a few words on that. When I bought my first 260 acres that grew to 2,000 acres, there had never been any toxins placed on that 260 acres. So I went to school, of course, university, and I learned all about pesticides and fertilizers, commercial fertilizers, and I started to apply these on my land. It was beautiful black soil in central Michigan. So it really worked good the first year and the second year. And I sprayed what was called then atrazine, simazine, and some of the weed sprays. They worked good the first couple of years, and then I had to start applying more. And in fact, I contacted the manufacturer and I said I put on the recommended rate, but it didn't really work. They said, well, anybody know that you just double it, put on more. Oh, I didn't know that. So I watched my land. I had a great crop the first year. Second year it was pretty good crop. The third year I had to start putting on more and more fertilizer because I'd been killing off the microfloral, the good biologicals in the soil. I'll call them the good guys. And so I'm killing all this off, and all my black soil, I could kind of notice it was turning gray, except in the fence rows where I wasn't applying chemicals or certain pasture fields. So with 200 dairy cows, 1,000 head of cattle, I'm noticing, and this farm was well recognized throughout the United States and Canada for innovation and profit, gross profit, net return. So it was a well recognized farm, and I thought, I'm doing something wrong here. So I started researching. I started researching why uh, pesticides were killing my land while salt fertilizers. In fact, I wasn't taught that potassium salts, they used on ice to melt the snow and the ice. Muriate of potash, that's the last number of the NPK, the potassium. So I started this learning curve trying to find out what was going wrong, and I kept adding fertilizer, but I did not add any yield. In fact, the yield got poorer because the the test weight wasn't there, the ingredients weren't there, the minerals weren't there, so that affected my milk production and offsprings of the livestock. So my research really started, and I crawled many fields in Michigan and other states and traveled many countries around the world to learn all of this. So I started going to more and more non-toxic and started researching, started building my own products and using my own products, testing my own products. So I was transitioning back to non-toxic farming. So I turned my 2,000 acres into non-toxic farming because the toxins were killing the soil and affecting my livestock and probably my family's health and my net return. so the farms would not be sustainable. And it's kind of a vicious circle that you just keep buying more and more pesticides every year and fertilizers. So now, throughout the years, I've learned how to do this and taught thousands and thousands of people around the world how to farm without toxins. So it's called non-toxic farming. Uh, it works, and your profits are higher, your yield's better, your quality's better, your shelf life's better, the food is healthy, it tastes good, and you can market your produce, your products, your milk, whatever you're growing at a higher price. Say something good. Say something good.
Well, those are great benefits from non-toxic farming. The way I see it is if you're on a downhill slide, it's only a matter of time before you hit bottom. So if the writing's on the wall, then you know the market is there and growing because of the general education curve of the population, which is now there for seeking cleaner food. Begin to turn the corner, get on the uphill run again,
That's right.
and you can't lose.
There's so
And,
many opportunities to
right.
sell food, produce, milk grown without toxins. And there's a huge movement now on around the world, along with organic. The second step is non-toxic farming. So
It's a
you're sustainable.
Yeah, it's sustainable. Non-toxic farming is sustainable. There might be a little blending going in there as you turn over because you don't want to shock your soil or whatever. And you don't want to lose what you have, but you don't have to do that. I mean, blend it over, get you to non-toxic. You're on the uphill. You want to go all the way to organic? Well, there's some more things we can talk about when that time comes.
I think what Lynn's saying is that the first year you don't just cut out all your fertilizer.
No,
So you might cut out a third of it and replace it with non-toxic.
Sure.
Next year, half of it.
soil building. Soil building is what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Now on pesticides, if you have insects, mold, fungus, whatever those pests might be attacking your plants, I always go back to the cause and the reason. Usually it's because the crops are not strong enough to defend for themselves, and insects and infestations always go to a weaker crop. So immediately you can use non-toxic products or organic and control the pests, the insects, the diseases, infestations. You can use our products now and do that. Are you going to go organic this year? No, I don't want you to. Unless you have a small plot, there are a few acres that have not had pesticides on. I want you to study, learn, find out what's happening, and we'll work with you 100%. We'll give you everything we know, and we'll learn a lot from you. We thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep, we're here to work together to help you. Thank you.